Good evening and welcome to the Whisky Lover Society with me, Gert Redief. Tonight we are looking at the Glen Scotia, and in particular we are looking at the Glen Scotia Campbeltown Malts Festival 2022 edition, 8 years old, bottled at 56.5% ABV, non-chill filtered, cask strength, natural color. And with a little bit of digging, we also talk about being heavily peated, distilled in 2013, matured for 7.5 years in 100% first full bourbon barrels, and then for 12 months or 1 year finished in the finest first full Pedro Ximénez hogsheads. Cost around €65 for the bottle. So quite looking forward to it. I've done quite a number of reviews on Glen Scotia. Never disappointed me, so I'm quite looking forward to this one. So natural color, it is quite a nice golden color for an 8-year-old, so quite impressed with that. It does got a little bit of an oily look to it, nice thick legs running down the glass, so there is a little bit of a viscosity towards it. So I'm also looking forward to a little bit of an oily mouthfeel. So color-wise, nice color to it. On the nose, cheers. Oh, that is nice. Now, I've bought this one a while ago, maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. But it just opens up really nice. So it says, so it does say heavily peated. I'm not getting that heavily peated notes, but quite sweet, hint of peat, and a little bit of an English toffee on it. That is really nice. So the peat is there, but in like other whiskies that you get the peat, and then you go look for the other notes. This one, you get all the other nice sweet notes, and you're going to have to go look for the peat. So it is 56.5% ABV. I'm not getting that much. Maybe if I give it a little bit of a undignified shake, and now I get a little bit of that nose. That alcohol is quite strong, but once it's settled down in the glass, you don't get that high ABV. Quite pleasant actually. It also, 8 years old, it feels a little bit older. If somebody would have given me this glass blind, I think I would venture maybe 15, 16 years old. It's got real mellowed out notes. Of course, if you start giving it a stir, then of course that gives you that hit of that high ABV. Quite pleasant on the nose. I also get some vanilla. It's a lovely sweet vanilla. And then I get a sweet vanilla mixed with a little bit of a raisins. So definitely that Pedro Ximénez is showing through. And it did take a little bit of time for it to show up. Right from the first pour, I did not get that Pedro Ximénez sweetness coming out, but definitely now I do pick it up with that hint of that peat in the background. I also get a little bit of a sugared pecan nuts. There's a little cooling effect, like a minty cooling effect with the high ABV. A hint of a varnish also coming in. And now every time I go back, it is a little bit sweeter on the nose. There's a little bit of a Christmas cake coming in. Oh, the lovely nose. I do like the nose, but of course we need to taste it as well. And before I go for the tasting, thank you very much for your fantastic 807 subscribers. I'm quite excited. I'm getting so ever closer to the 1,000. And just a quick reminder, once we have met that requirements to get some ad revenue from YouTube, 100% of that money will go towards children in South Africa. So I'm quite looking forward to that next step, and maybe ensuring a good steady revenue so that we can keep on supporting 75 children. They keep on growing. We have 85 families that me, my wife, and a lot of my friends and colleagues are trying to support. So like and subscribe and help me with a little bit of a contribution for the future. Of course, I also have a Patreon account. If you feel you cannot wait for the next 6 months or a year before I reach my 1,000, you are more than welcome. And again, 100% of the money will go towards the children. So on the taste, cheers. Remember, small sips. It's a strong boy, but wow, it is absolutely fantastic. There's a lovely sweetness in it. That first punch of sweet English toffee. And then all of a sudden, there's a hint of that oakiness coming in. And I also get that a little bit of that punch of the alcohol. So smaller sips, especially in the beginning. Quite a strong one. Let me try again. There's a nice, oily, creamy mouthfeel. Definitely a little bit of a build-up of the oak. More going into a little bit of a espresso bitterness. And when you get that toffee, maybe a little bit of a burnt toffee or burnt caramel, but it's still lovely sweet. And then in the end you get that mellow, peaty smokiness coming through. Definitely not iodine, definitely not hospital, actually quite nice. More in the savory or maybe a little bit of an ashy note in the end. But I have to try again. Creaminess, oiliness is definitely there. Oak, every time I go back, a little bit more oak. The high ABV, small sip, I think it is manageable. But I think it might be a good idea to add a little bit of water, just a couple of drops on this one. For me, I'm not going to add water. I do like the high ABV stuff. I do like a sipping whiskey. I'd like to sit here on my balcony overlooking the neighborhood with a small one like this. Not going to drink glasses full of it. Small one, sip every now and again. Spend some time on the nose and taste, being a little bit of a whiskey snob. But that's the way that I would drink this one. But I think if you do add a little bit of water, it will also open up a little bit more. And it's going to be a little bit more sweeter, maybe a little bit less oak. But for tonight, getting cold in Belgium already. This morning we woke up with 8 degrees. So with the falling temperature, I do like a little bit of a peated whiskey. I do like a little bit of a higher ABV whiskey. So this one is perfect for the winter. Now it keeps on getting sweeter. One more try. So a big mixture between caramel, toffee, mixed with some raisins. And now after spending a little bit of time, now I get, even on the nose, I get that sweetness of the Pedro Ximénez. It is just like lingering in the background. And if you're not sure what it smells like, I encourage you, buy a bottle of Pedro Ximénez, just open it up, pass your nose through it, and you get that sweetness. You get this one as well. And I think that also encourages a little bit on the color. Wow, absolutely fantastic. So on the finish, I think it starts sweet. You get that oak, definitely. You get that peat. You get that English toffee. And then you get a little bit of that espresso note, a little bit of a bitter note in the end. And I think that bitterness is welcome in this case, because it brings down or tones down a little bit of that sweetness. It feels a little bit very sweet, And when the oak says, hang on now, let's cool it a little bit down, let's make it a little bit less sweeter in the end. Absolutely something that I would buy again. I would definitely encourage you to try it. It is the 22 edition, so I'm sure it's not going to be a problem in getting one of these bottles. And it is so nice. And I keep on going back just to nose it. This is really inviting. This is something that I will definitely give my friends and colleagues some samples. And I will also give an opportunity to try something that is special. 65 euros, I think it is quite expensive for an 8-year-old. No doubt about it. But I think I'm willing to pay the 65 for this one. That's me on the Glen Scotia Campbeltown Malt Festival 2022 edition. 8-year-old, bottled at 56.5% ABV. Let me know what you think. Have you tried it? Is it something that you would encourage your friends to buy? Leave me a comment. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. And I see you next time. Cheers.